Hi, everyone. Well, let's go through the questions, answers, and rationale for exam 3. And I'm going to focus really just on the response and the ethics rationale. So the first question has to do with the Pew Research article. Older workers are growing in number and earning higher wages on the Blackboard site. The question, though, asks, what is a primary reason for the change? And it has to do with a growing percentage of older workforce, primarily women. And I'm going to go straight to the ethics rationale. So this really was, the whole topic, ethics theme was burden. And we talked about a number of different things, but we started talking about individuals older, over 65, going back to work. And there's a variety of reasons, but what's the primary reason? To contribute to expenses related to multi-generational households. We talked about sandwich generation, um, whether they live together, whether they didn't live together, to support their families, their adult children and grandchildren. But certainly in a multi-generational household, the idea is to keep contributing for a variety of reasons. So, I want to remind you to focus always, always on the ethics theme, right? Ethics theme here is burden. And so the notion of financial burden is key. We saw it in 9 to 90, although, Phil and Joe didn't go back to work, but it's part of the rationale for Phil leaving California, going back with her daughter to the East Coast. Okay, so always, always focus on the ethics theme. Let's keep moving here. So we're talking now about B.J. Miller. And the question is, as a palliative care physician, what might he say to Joe from 9 to 90? So you have to understand a couple things. What really is palliative care? Um, it focuses on one of the ethics sub-themes that you know well, what matters most. So it's really about understanding what matters most to individuals. Which of these questions, first of all, is a question? What worries you about your kidney disease? What are you concerned about? What are your fears? These other things are statements, okay? And so this is really what matters most to Joe. So if he was talking to Joe, he would say, what worries you? What are you scared about? What are your fears about? And then we're going to make a plan. And that plan could be minimizing pain, keeping you comfortable. It might involve moving through some sort of treatment, but in conjunction with this question. Let's keep going, folks. This is a long question on the exam number 3, and I'm going to just highlight a few things that are really important here. Um, so this gentleman is in a nursing home. He ends up coming to the emergency room. He ends up getting treated fully. But the question is, from an ethics perspective, what is the most significant issue? And, there's a lot of different things in here, except in our theme of advanced care planning, it's understanding what is going on, what matters most, right? So we go back to that theme. And we realize a few things that when the gentleman was in a nursing home, the nursing home staff believe he had discussed a forgo, but they couldn't find anything, right? And so no one could find his documentation. In the absence of direction, in the absence of documentation, in the absence of an advance directive, it is, especially as the individual comes to the emergency department, he's got to be treated. And I mean, we can't guess. And so full code now, full code is all treatment. And so he had a ventilator, intubated, was sedated, he was transferred to the ICU. So because of that, there was a lack of direction, especially related to Jake's future healthcare decisions. It might have been discussed, but no one really knew. Unfortunately, this is all too common. And so unsubstantiated care means, well, we don't know if he would have wanted it or not, but he received everything. That's what has to happen if there is no direction. Okay. Now, number four, I essentially told all of you that you had the wrong answer. Um, what's the question? What matters most to each of them, to Joe and Phyllis? Now, early, most of you put this. What matters most to Phyllis is not being a burden. Why? Okay, she said it 7 times. The notion of that's correct. Joe, frailty. What is frailty? Being frail, being weak, being sick. That's true, but it's not what matters most to him. Joe didn't want to be a burden either. He didn't say it 7 times. In fact, as many of you pointed out, he didn't say much at all. But he let Phyllis go. He said, I don't like it, but she's got to go. He didn't want to be a burden to her. This is about emotional burden, first and foremost. Please make sure you understand the question. Now, this was a gimme for all of you because I knew you were all going down the wrong direction. So it is a lesson to read the question. You know the answer. What matters most to them? So just a suggestion for the next couple of exams. Let's go to the next one, please. What is significant? What is the significance of B.J. Miller? You know him well. Um, his relationship to death. And it's the notion of we can't avoid it because if we avoid the issue, we set ourselves to lose control. Lose control. What's another way of saying that is we have choices in life. We have autonomy to make decisions. We lose control of how we live our life. And that is what he means. Have a relationship with death. Make a space for it. Understand that it is part of our experience, but then live life. And he talked about it. Of course, he was given an opportunity through this tragic episode that happened to him when he was 19. But it's about the choices we make and the fact we have choices. All right, let's talk about Mallory here. Mallory, and basically, what is the primary ethical issue related to this decision? It has to do with the fact that Mallory, 82-year-old woman, would love to retain her autonomy, right? Driving is a continuous right of autonomy. It's a choice. It's something that people can control. And when that gets taken away because health, physical, and cognition declines, it's a loss. It's a huge loss. It's a loss because you think about it and you think about yourselves. For many of you, you started driving 16, 17 years old. All of a sudden, eight, it's the one thing that we continue to do for the bulk of our life. And then all of a sudden, it ends. And that ability to make that choice and to be independent ends. And it is really a big ethical issue. Let's go to number 7. This is Phil's scene when she's giving away her jewelry to her daughters and her granddaughters. And what is it really about? Um, it's the fact that she's accepting aging. I can't wear this jewelry anymore. I can't use it. And I want to unburden myself. I want to let the burdens go. And part of it is giving away stuff, especially things that are items, material goods, but they're also emotional goods that others can use, but it's unburdening. And so this notion of unburdening, detaching burdens is a key one. All right, we're almost to the end. Eight. Um, this is the coexistence between generations, especially in a sandwich generation. And what's an example of this? It's where there's conflict. There's conflict between two and three generations, and one generation is using Snapchat and Instagram, and the other says, hey, let's talk. And that conflict exists. It exists, especially, and it's exacerbated in a multi-generational household in a sandwich generation. All right, as we move to number 9 and 10. This is another case, and of course, this is the advanced care planning, advanced directive case. You need to use a little bit of the hierarchy, Indiana hierarchy, but it's not as clean cut. Many of you looked at the hierarchy and said, wait a minute, there's no particular answer here. And that's because it's really asking who should be the primary decision maker. So let me point out a couple things. First of all, every advance directive, everyone is voluntary. No one's compelled, no one's forced. It is always a good idea, always a good idea. And it's something that's recommended, but it's never mandatory. However, in this case, focus on this scenario. What happens? Three daughters, one in the ICU waiting room, two are on the phone. But Krishna, husband, says, I can't make this decision anymore. And so it's really got to be the daughters. And so they're not compelled to use the form, but the most important part is the second part. They really should collectively decide who will assume the role of spokesman. And that really means that one of them can be the spokesperson. It's just easier for the healthcare professionals, but they can collectively decide. Now, whether their father is involved or not in this situation, he probably won't be. They don't have to be in the same room. One, of course, is across the country, or two are across the country. One's in the ICU, but one spokesman, but all three of them can decide. The last question here, having to do with actually this statement in the Indiana Healthcare Directive, in Indiana Advanced Directive document. Which example below represents this? Now, there are actually two potential answers, C and D. First of all, Hannah didn't complete her advanced directive, but I know she wants to live long enough to see her granddaughter married. Now, that might not be possible, but that might be a reason to for Hannah to be kept, if that's her wishes, if that's what matters most to her, what matters most. Perhaps in a long-term care facility, and it is really acting in her good faith. But the second thing is letter D. I didn't know Vicky's wishes, but I know that food and cooking were really important. And if food and cooking were important, she wouldn't want an artificial feeding tube. You see, because food, actually, the idea of ingesting food was so important to her, it what's mattered to her, that she wouldn't want something artificial. So you might not know everything, but it's acting in good faith and making the decisions on the best interest. Key again is what matters most. All right, everyone. I hope this was helpful. Please, check this out, especially when you get your exam back. Let me know if you have any questions, though. Thanks very much, folks. Bye.